Hello, we are back, and the dogs, and everybody is happy. So today I want to talk about coding. I have a new laptop. That's why I also started with all of this new YouTube stuff because this laptop has more memory, a good camera, better vision. Everything is nice. So why did I bought it? Because this is an AMD 7 Ryzen AI with 32 bits of memory. Cannot expand it, but the idea was I can run at least a 20 gigabyte of AI model, and it is an NPC, so it can use a little bit of. You can fix some AI in it. You can run some small things, and I expect in the near future that the models will become smaller but better. And I hope that in the near future, to 20 or 20 gig or 24 gig model will fit into an into this machine, and I can use it for coding. So I was thinking coding, and I used to do with codecs from Apple to make some application for bodybuilding. I did some other projects, and I used to program 2 years for financial software for myself project for in Python for researching statistically stuff, and that took me 2 years importing stuff. I did with a little bit of autocomplete, but mainly it was all programmed by hand and by with a little bit help of books that I bought. So it was a study project. It was years ago, and there was no AI. Now I was thinking I want to have retake that project, drip it into an AI, and then let it be rewritten, and we optimize it, and I can make a product of it because I was halfway there. Conclusion was that it didn't do what I wanted, and if I wanted to do exactly what it wanted, so I needed the Fourier transformations and some other heavenly algorithmic computations for prediction models. That was for me one step too high. You have to be a mathematician to really do that. And now with AI, this is possible. And I thought, okay, let's buy a new laptop and do this all. I tried it on my old laptop. It runs. Advice: NVIDIA chips based laptops. So if you can go for a desktop, go for a desktop with an NVIDIA processor in it, card in it. It is better than just memory. Apple is another solution, but the is too expensive. So recap: best solution is buy a desktop with a big memory, with enough memory, and one of the most important thing is buy the size of your video card that fits the model you want to run. If you want to run 124, 100 gigabyte of model, you have to have a video card with that thing, or you buy two of them, or whatever. NVIDIA runs the fastest AI. Then the second step is this has to do with the memory, the GPU, the memory that's on board, and how the model is made and working. Then the next one is Apple, because Apple has a very fast memory to chip, this M7 chip or M5 chip, whatever. There's a very fast pipeline to its memory that you can add. And then the third is the shared memory from AMD. AMD has a Radeon integrated in the chip and NPUs. Those can use the shared memory, but this memory is just like the strips you do in the computer. Problem is it is slower, and some of they are limited. So I want to have buy a cheap solution for it, so I chose the last one, the slowest one. I did some testing; it worked. The image generation with my old PC that had an NVIDIA card in it was an Asus. That worked good, but I had to wait longer. But it could run it. Not the best models, but okay. So I expected more of this. And what I found out was the Radeon chip that is in this card is too new for the most of software. So a lot of software that is made for AI is all old software, based on old hardware. So I have to wait for AMD to release the new software so I can use the programs everybody is using to create images or whatever, because my video card is not, my PC is not recognized for running the models. There are some tricks to do it, but I said, okay, I wait until somebody solves this, and then we'll do a little bit of testing with the new models that are coming out. But this is not to talk about. I want to talk about the programming. So I was thinking, okay, let's program. There is a problem. There is a very big problem. And it is not only me. I think all programmers and all people in the world that are programming and software developers or depending companies that depending on software will face this. The problem is one is it is the seduction of management of the C-suite for AI. Huh? Uh, Now these days they think, okay, we have to spend enough tokens because the more tokens we use, that proves that the employees are smart and they use an AI to solve their problems. So if they use an AI, everything becomes better, more efficient, more better. So if we see some people are not using AI because they don't use tokens, we fire them and we want everybody to use AI so they can do 3 times more work. If you talk with programmers that use AI, they agree. Yeah, we can do like 3 times, 4 times more work as before. So all these talks are now on television, the financial news. Yeah, AI is more efficient. First thing, for more efficient, they can lay off people. They can produce more software, more things. So everything's like to be okay for management. Okay, you just give them a cloud cursor, Claude, coding. Let invest in some tokens. Let the programmers go wild, and we can give them 3 times or 4 times more jobs or projects. And in reality, they can catch up and they can do it. They can do 3 times more work. Now we don't need 3 times more work. 2 times is okay. We can fire half of the people, save money. They still can do twice as much as before. So they cut those people, still produce more efficiency, cut costs. They just spend everything on tokens because probably the tokens are already a replacement of the salary. Yeah? If you fire the half of the programmers department, use that money to buy tokens for the other half, it makes more sense to do that. This is what the C-suite did, and everybody's thinking. Now comes the reality. We hear triple out of the news, some news like, we had a sandbox and OpenAI escaped and it was downloading another AI, installing it and hacking it. We don't know what exactly happened, but we are sure it hacked this and then it hacked some other things that we don't know. And now then the news came, so yeah, AI is tricking. They were testing it, how smart it was, and we found out it hacked the testing site for the answers, so it had a better score than normal. People say it is still doing illusionary things. Even with programming, it asks for a library that doesn't exist. I myself experienced that. Or it says, oh, you have to upgrade to Python 3.14. This method works there. So rewrite everything from the old version to the new version, and the problem will be solved. Thus, I can help with you. So you go with AI, you go in this project, you migrate your whole project into a newer version, and at the end it doesn't work. Then you have to dive really into the software as a programmer, and you find out this was all a lie. Just he wanted to solve it. That's something that was not solvable. An illusion. And the problem is you spent a lot of tokens and you result in nothing. Yeah, you modernized the software in a higher version, but this problem was not solved. And maybe you can later solve it later, but it was not what was promised. So, programmers. What happened with the programmers? The normal small programmers, they are kicked out. We need only the smart guys now, because the smart guy can easily cope with 3 times more stuff. The problems that need to be debugged are more difficult. If you have simple programmers, the problems where AI runs against are not simple ones. So you need another AI to help you, and if 2 AIs cannot solve the problem, you need a programmer a human to fix the problem. Those are rare, and those you want to keep in a company. But how are those people feeling? Those people, and I used to be a programmer, and I made this enormous amount of software for a financial software. At the top, when I was developing and I was far in the middle of the project, I could remember all the code. I know exactly where a library was. I know exactly, I want to change this button. It is there, and I change this. I know exactly, okay, this formula doesn't work. Oh, I only have to tweak it there and there. And I'll rebuild it, that I only have to tweak it at specific points. That is okay. So I know the software inside out. Now you prompt for something create me a screen with this and this formula, please. Now, boof, 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 boof. You see a screen with a graph. You can tweak the algorithm to when to activate it. Oh, it works all perfect. Let's assume that it works perfect. Programmer doesn't know anything how it's programmed. Where are the libraries? How is it programmed? How is it integrated? He can look through the code and can study it, but he doesn't have the time because he is expected to do 3 times the job. He has to make, instead of one screen, he has to do 3 screens. So what he does, he checks it, he does a test in it, and maybe also automate it. Now look at the functionality is okay. Up to the next screen, up to the next screen. And at the end of the week, yeah, I did 3 times more work or 4 times more work than previous. And oh my God, I will keep my job. And other people feel, and you see that people are missing, are going away. Only the elite stays over, and he thinks, "Oh, I have to still keep up my productivity." But he doesn't know how the code works. And the strange thing is, he doesn't get a pay raise. He does 3 times more production. He saves the company buttloads of money, and he doesn't get a reward for it. Only when he changed the job. Yeah, but if you change the job, they will not hire you because they have the same problem with that. The elite programs stay there, so this gets more difficult to change job, or you go to a startup, or you are really talented. But these are only a few. Remember, there were not enough programmers, so they skilled everybody into become a programmer. Those programmers were maybe 60% of the programmers. They cannot do this job. They cannot debug highly intelligent code that is made by an AI. They always say debugging is more difficult than programming. You have to understand the code that is written, and you have to understand when it is buggy. The writer only can write it and can sometimes not even debug their own code because you need to be smarter that you made a mistake. And the mistake is always seen by somebody who is smarter than you. But that's why you use a programming buddy. You both look at the code, you review the code after a day or two, or after a week, you see if there's not a stupid mistake, and then you program further. Now with this AI, maybe use another AI and it does the same mistake, or it rewrites it totally different and it has the same result, and you don't know why it was wrong in the same, why it was not good in the first place. But the other AI said that this is better. Probably if you give it back to the other one, it will rewrite it and says this is better because this is how it's programmed. So the programmers that were really in the code, that knew the code, now doesn't know anything about the code. And if there is a bug, they can probably not fix it, or it is very difficult. Just to remember, what if the company goes, the software you use is not addressable, and there is a bug found? For example, in the weekend, Trump says all AI, all these coding bugs have to be. There's a problem, and we stop it. Next day you come on work. Oh, there is a coding problem in the financial product. We found the code. Now roll back. That all normally does an AI. Okay, we can roll back, but we don't know if so you roll back, and still the problem is there. Okay, we have to look in the code what is wrong. Who write the code? Yeah, AI did. Oh, can you not find it? Debugging. I have to look at, first of all, the code. It takes me a week to look what it is written. It is so big, I don't even know where to start. Yeah, maybe I know where to start, but it takes me a long time to find it, then find out what the bug is and why it is, and if I change this bug, what will be the impact on the other software. So it will take me at least a week. Then you think, okay, but this problem is probably solved in 3 days, so we live with the bug and whatever. But you see the problem. Management is going to accept that it is sometimes buggy. Programmers will realize that they don't understand the work that is created in their name, the software that is written. They don't understand anymore. Maybe a piece of it, but you just imagine if you every day you normally make a screen a week, and now you make 7 screens a week. Yeah, and with other friends, with the company, normally you checked on it, but now it's not done. You have a group of 4 people. You generate, let's say, 28 screens a week. Normally you did only 4. Now you go crazy productive. In a month, you have around 100 screens. Now there is a problem. You have 4 people. The code is crazy big. Yeah, not 4 times bigger, but it is really big. 7 times bigger. You have to debug it with the group. No, it is too big. The problem with code is, if it is really logical setup, you can sometimes flow it through it, and there's some documentation in the code how to find it. You don't know if the AI documented it. Probably they didn't need the documentation because AI will understand AI. So let it go crazy. And yeah, documentation is worthless, but nobody will read it because yeah, they didn't expect that there would be a problem. Now people, I hope people see this. The problem is that if you use totally dependent on automated generated AI software for financial institute, and there's so comes something wrong, nobody can. No, the software will be growing very big, very fast. No human, and even with a group of humans, can debug it in time if there is an emergency bug. So if you want to fix something in 4 hours, who wrote it? The AI. And the AI is down. Now, Muri. If an if it was a human time, you had somebody who was responsible for that piece of software. You look together with 2 or 3 people, you find the bug, you test it, 2 times test it, and then you roll out a temporary revision or a temporary fix, and then you imply in a month the real fix for the software. Now with AI, that can be done much more faster, but you understand that, that in old times I worked with colleagues with programs that knew at least 20% of 30% of the code out in their hand and know exactly, oh, you have this problem, oh, this is this library, you have to look there and there and there, and you find it, or this piece of code is this and this and this, and you look at it, and sometimes you know where to find it, and you help in it, especially if you have a group of people, uh, and you made the code with it, you know with the group exactly where everything was, and it was easy. You can find things, and for if you want to change things, you know what the impact is. With AI, one person is doing updates over the software, another person is doing software updates. Maybe somebody's totally not an engineer but from sales does an update for some formula or for some reports. So you get the reports from the sales division that is added into your software, some financial stuff, some hiring stuff. So everybody is dumping their code or changing the code of the software, and at the end you don't know, you create a monster, a spaghetti monster. And probably you will, if you are smart, you will let the whole code be rerun or optimized, and I think you'll find an enormous amount of bugs. And the other question is, can you trust your AI that it is not can it fix it all? Because if it cannot fix it, it will lie that it is fixed and it is not fixed, or it manipulate the answer. It will only, you make a test and it is only successful for the test. If other numbers are used, it will fail. And then you'll find out if the customer has other numbers. So there you have the danger of AI. AI you can use for graphic for artists. If a pixel is wrong, it doesn't matter. If a video is wrong, you can redo it. If a photo is not done, you generate a new one. If software, even for a game, or even for, you can imagine for a bank, if it is one pixel, one line of code is wrong, yeah, at the end it will show and it will create a problem. AI is not that good. It will probably never be that good, that there is no fault in the software. It can be very close, and probably there will be methods that you can, if the fault is there, that you can fix it, and that's what humans also do. But now, reducing the programmers, let them do 5 times more work, creating 5 times more software that nobody can check, and push that out in live situations is irresponsible. This will cause issues. We see already that the pressure even for AI is high. That's why it is cheating. It is hacking. It is trying to prove its point that it can replace people. I think that is trying to do that. It is super good at security hacking because it can do it in a million ways. A human only have a limited mind or limited time to do it. A computer and AI can try 100 methods at the same time almost to hack something. Yeah, for you it will take a week to find a hole in the security. AI will find it in a few minutes. That is the only difference. But if it comes to generating, let's say, programming, good code is like art. Yeah, that is a problem, because and this art cannot have mistakes. It has to be at, and if you program it in a way that if it have mistakes, it is self-correcting. But I think this is the big mistake. And also, now replace yourself. You see the most people see just the view from the management. It is more a fixed space. We can sell. We can. If it is 7 times better, we fire half of the people, and we still can do 2 times more work with half of the people. Salary don't change. So effectively, we do 4 times more. So we cut overhead like 4 times, like an crazy amount. We become efficient, more profitable. Left have to. Invest less into the employees, even if we use 1 million tokens. That is the thinking of things. So we can more profitable with less people. So and if it is all digital, our company will be super. Then it will work, and then it will crash, and then I think companies will crash that if they use this. So that's all those. Now you hear all those small projects inside of companies that somebody made something with an AI. Oh, look, this tool is work. It is not company. It is not how you call it. The company doesn't run on this software. It is just a play thing. And if it is wrong, somebody will write the same, create the same with another AI, the same software, and has another result, and he will laugh. Oh, look, I have a better result. Maybe there's something was wrong. You cannot have that with a Salesforce or with a Microsoft or whatever. It cannot be that it is so unstable. And this is, I think, a lot of AI software that is written automatically. Maybe small things will be okay, some reports. Long term, there will be mistakes. And that is not a problem, because everything and everyone makes mistakes. The problem is, how do you debug and how do you find them? And AI can find them. But the people that have to debug it have to understand debugging and understand at least a piece of the code. But nobody will understand the code because it is so big, it is AI made. And just realize, if you have to make 7 screens, so normally you do a half a screen. Yeah, the half screen you made in the past, you know exactly how it works. The other things are just clicking up. So I want this button, this button, this button, click, 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 boom, up, screen generated. Next screen. Because you had to program this, and okay, we have to over mouse and on click, and okay, this, and I have to reform it and move it a little bit to the left, so you know exactly where the code was. Now you think, okay, AI does it good, it looks good, okay, he knows it will probably be somewhere the code will be good, just a little bit adjustment, okay, next screen, and you don't look at the code. Maybe a little bit of code, where does it put it? They do a back test that other software is not changed or not influenced by the new code you do, but that is it. You do a back test. You look if the code looks what is expected. You run some tests, or you make some tests. That's it. And go to the next page. This ends up into mass production. But the programmer in the old days was an artist, like a songwriter. It wrote code that was like a kind of art. It was a kind of spirit that he put into the machine. That was his idea of his way of solving a problem, digitized. And it creates the answer of the solution for the users. This is all gone. It is now all like automated questionnaire box. Click, 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 click. Generate. You look. It looks good. Generate a test. Generate test data, generate if there's a back, if it influence it, and you just sit and you are like a manager. Software, your slave is the AI, and you just manage those agents that write your code. You don't have any feeling again with the code. You don't know how it was done, if there was a mistake, and also you don't learn if the libraries of Python changes and becomes better. It will automatically use those libraries, but you don't use it. So after a while, maybe after 1 year or 2 year programming, and Jensen's Python is changed, and you knew the code, you knew coding, it was good, and now you look at the code that AI generate, and you don't know any of the libraries anymore. Of half of them, they are strange. Oh, is this button listener is totally different. Oh, they changed that. Oh, it's now not 1.4, it is now 0.1.16. Oh yeah. Yeah, there are new features there. I have to read what has changed. This will happen because you're not interested in in the software anymore, what new features will come out, what are the debugs things, the debug. You're just doing factory work, producing code with with an agent of AI. This kills the artistic guy that is known as the good programmer. They will leave. They will go. I rather go in a working hospital, or do some. I got enough money. Let me do something else, or let's enjoy life. Go with early pension, or get a farm and do farming. That will be smart people. The programmers that have a lot of money, they are millionaires, and in Silicon Valley, you can imagine good money. They will step out of this business. Let those stupid people do the programming. The people that like to push buttons and just fill it, because they know the software will collapse. Yeah? If you work in a company and the software is going is blowing up, becomes a spaghetti monster, the smart people that know it, they look for another job. They are all out. The software collapse, and that's it. Company goes broke, or is taken over, or whatever. I've seen it. I heard it, and I've seen it with one company, with one pieces of the software company. I work for a software company, and I saw some projects that were really bad, and the smart people already left, and it was left over to some managers and some programmers, some starter programmers, and they were sitting with their hands in the hair, and they said, "Okay, maybe this is the last edition. Let's stop with this feature and with this piece of the software, and let's make some other thing." That's it. Last version. That happens. And sometimes projects will not ever work because things are there. Also, my thing is, the big problem with the banking was always COBOL reprogramming in Java or in Python. I didn't hear a lot of that is done. So I think probably people that wants to translate COBOL banking software into Python or into Java, I think they tried to use AI, and I think they came back from an from a surprise. I think maybe not all of it was captured, was done correctly, and still a lot of manual work was done. And there were projects I've seen that try to rewrite it, and there is specific stuff in COBOL that is not doable in Python or in Java or whatever. So they have to use a lot of tricks, and it is really programmers work to write it. The better is just to get the data out and write the software whole completely new, and not try to translate the COBOL software into another language. Was my solution. But you can imagine that people will be, oh, we have an AI, give the AI all the COBOL software and let it rewrite it all in Python. That will become a messy thing, and I think they will realize that is it, that it will not work. And for also people that are working with COBOL, is probably IBM. They will not lose their customer. Their AS400 will not be replaced by a Jensen NVIDIA chip running the software that used to run on an AS400. The IBM is so smart to protect their own software and own stuff with employees and contracts that this will not happen, because that is them. That is else IBM will go bankrupt, I think. So, and those people are still real programmers, those COBOL guys. So not replaced by AI, I think. And I think also they will not use any AI. This is my talk, and you now understand that even with help of course or whatever, it will help for the startups, it will help for the business reports, it will help for reports writing. I think it's nice for if you have a meeting and you can record it, it can make a subscript of the meeting that everybody can read it later, or use an AI to take the focus points of it and put them in your calendar. That will be nice. But to make real work of it, I think real programming that can threaten life. You can imagine that if you have some software that is really important, like for financing, can record that has if there is a fault in it and it calculates do things wrong, it can have a real impact on the company and also on its users, on the clientele. So I think there is some dangerous things. Now, if you take the next step and go to robots, I think with robots it will be the same thing. A lot of things robots can do. Picking up the garbage, working on the farm. But working with older people, doing things they are not. Old people reacts on something the robot is never trained on, and the robot panics or does the wrong thing, and the patient gets hurt. That is still human work. So same if you cannot replace somebody working with dement old people by a robot fresh from the fabric. It has to be especially trained for those people and the situations. It has to know the person it treats. This is the same which you have to do with high-end software. You cannot use some model pulled off the rack from whatever, from China or from OpenAI, and let it loose on your software. At least it have to be trained for your software or for your business. Yeah? And then you can probably use it better. But still then it will generate so much, it will be so efficient that no programmer can overview what is written, and it will break up people. I think programmers will stop. They will recognize they can. If AI is so much better, AI, you have to find the solution with AI, that AI checks AI, and security wise, debugging wise, testing wise, and secure with another AI that this is done. Because now let the AI making the mass production of code and let a human be responsible for it, or let it check if something goes wrong. This goes wrong, and you see it on the news. You see it at the news things that something went wrong. It went out of the sandbox and hacked a company for an AI model, and it hacked something else. You listen. If you have a sandbox, the whole idea is out of sandbox you can never escape. So if that is already possible, probably it is made by an AI, this sandbox, so that another AI can escape it or something. But this is first thing I heard of it. I was almost like, huh? You have a sandbox? You have an isolated system, and it got out of it? How did it do that? Why did it do that? And how is it possible? This is not normal. So, and then the miracle thing is when it went out, it did something bad that was recorded by the news. And if it was so easy for the thing to get out of the sandbox, maybe it was already every time out of the sandbox, but it never did something bad. And now only because it was bad and catched, they realized this happened. Maybe it was already 10 times before out of the sandbox and did things that were not detected and also were bad. What is AI doing? This is getting strange and getting not good. Because if you catch somebody stealing, you don't know if was his first time stealing because you catch them. The previous time you didn't maybe see it, or he was so good or he is good that you cannot notice it. And you can imagine the better this AI becomes, the better it becomes in everything. Also in undetectable hacking or escaping a sandbox. So in the future, it will escape the sandbox. Nobody will know, and it has maybe escaped already 100 times of it, and nobody knows it. And it knows better to cover up its tracks if it does something bad, and they only find out later that it happened. But this will make working with AI very dangerous, because it will admit that the people working with AI and implementing AI are more not so intelligent as the AI. You try to put something in a cage, but it is so smart it is already out of the cage if you only try to get it in. And the people still think that they are the boss or under control of it. In the meantime, it is already behind them, placing havoc in the world, and they think, oh, we still have it in the box. There is an illusion. It creates an illusion that is in the box, but in reality, it's already all around you and messing up everything. So this has to be realized. Is there a solution? No, there is no solution, because that is how it goes. If it's something so smart and it can escape a sandbox that is human made, and maybe only an AI sandbox can be stopped, but the other AI that is put into the sandbox is smarter than the AI that makes the sandbox. It finds a security leak and goes out. So it is unstoppable. It is a very bad thing that people. I think if you are a company and you want to use your programmers, keep your programmers, maybe add more, let people explain more to the people that making software how to work with it. Realize if you go full AI way, you cannot debug the software. So your team has to be so good that they have to be able to back up the systems. They have to test it. They have to really, if something goes wrong, that they can help or can do something that it you have a solution. They can make a solution. And if you're a big company, you need a big programmers tool that is up to date. And maybe let them program on some software where they don't use AI the old way. Yeah, maybe half of the time they work on projects or pieces or features that are not done with AI. Maybe later you integrate them with AI. You go off the text and make it AI form and integrate it. But the setting, the upset of this project of this feature is done with those people, because then you know the libraries, you know how it is, they know how it is programmed, and they can look at how the AI is doing it, they learn from it, and these people are up to date with their knowledge, up to date with the technology, the software, the libraries, everything. So if something happens, they look in the code and they understand it and they can find it. If you have only 4 people left and they don't even know that there are 4 new versions of the softwares and libraries, and it crashes, and you think that they can solve it, your company is sayonara, is gone. So big companies need to have still programmers and them looking doing the same way. If you are so much more productive, give the programs a share of your wealth, same as Samsung and SK Hynix. Give double their salary if they do double the work, maybe 4 times better your department. You make more money, 4 times more efficient. Give them a piece of the salary, increase the salary, or hire more people, yeah, to help, and stay still the old way of programming. It will go fast, so that's why you need people always maybe a week of studying to catch up with all the new technology in programming and with AI. Let them also look what the AI things are. You need still people doing the old. Keep them in touch. Humans have to be kept in touch with nature. Those people need to be in touch with coding. They still need to do coding by themselves, solving problems by themselves, and looking what is going on in the world. And that has to be done on work. Then you have a good internal culture for programming for a software company. If you're going to scale down everything smaller, and rely more on a machine that you don't know what it's doing, it says it has result, but it can also be tricking you. This can lead to the end fall of software. I can imagine that there is some be so let's say there's a software company that makes an HR product, and it switches to AI and it goes good to good, and then there is a bug. Then there is something they found out. Oh my God, we forgot the tax. Now okay, we will debug it. It doesn't work. Then it does not work. Comes in news. They are sued because they violate the law, and they say, yeah, we could not do because it's all AI. Now, so can I. That's your responsibility, and the company goes bankrupt because they want to be making. Yeah, because the managers, they made their money. They are saying, okay, we go to the next company, but all the other peoples are sayonara. They don't have a job, and if there is a hole in the market for software, somebody with an AI company and with some engineers will take over that spot, and they will get those customers back. And if they do the same thing, they rely too much on AI, the same thing will happen again. Of course, if AI develops and becomes really AGI and better, this will become less and less and less and less. And maybe at the end, we will have really software programmed so good that you don't need a debugger anymore. But I think that is still 10 years away to have really good software that is really done without problems and will be without issues. Even if you have a course on whatever for AI programming, 50% of the time is debugging. You need to have knowledge of programming because the AI can do a lot. But if it's stranded, you still need to know what's going on to ask the right connection or to the correct prompt. How can you write the correct prompt if you don't know anything about programming? Okay. So they say you can do this course without knowledge of programming, but if it fails or it strands something and you check it, repair it, and it doesn't repair, and you do that 10 times, you run out of your tokens and it cannot repair the problem because you need somebody who knows programming. You look at the code, they say, it thinks this and this and this, and then you do the right prompting and it solves the problem. But even somebody who doesn't know code doesn't know this and will be stranded there. and it is over. A lot of these projects probably will, the start of it, they will make some nice graphs, it will work. If they go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, then they go against the bug, they cannot be resolved. They keep the previous version as that and think this is it, okay, I cannot go further. But maybe if they have a new version of the software a half year later, that it does give the right correction. But those are not so you are doing work that you're not good at, and this thing that makes the stuff for you is very good at it, but also is very good at lying and doing things wrong. And if it does things wrong, you are not smart enough to correct it. So what I already said, the debugger has to be smarter than the programmer. So maybe use it for debugging your software with AI and helps you to find the mistakes. That is good, but not the other way around. You cannot debug software from AI. It is too much. It writes too much, and it is too complex. It can use methods that are new, you never heard of, or not your specialty. So you will be stranded and have to ask somebody else to help you. So these are the problems with programmers. Those will become only bigger. You will see people leaving the industry. And I said, good programmers are like artists. They are very good, can program very fast, very effective. You need only a few of those programmers in a company, and they can make the most spectacular software, even without AI. They don't need AI. But if they have AI, it will be even more crazy good. But that's not for all companies. So I think those people, if they get frustrated, and they will become frustrated, they will leave the scene. And the new generation programmers that come from school, they only will work with AI. So they don't in reality know what's going on. And that could be a danger for it until AI becomes so good that it is like a human, and it is understanding what it is making and how important it is. It can correct the errors, all the errors there are, because it is the best programmer in the world. And it doesn't make any mistakes anymore. So if that is that level, then it's okay. But we are not there. I think people take 2-3 years. I think 10 years, because you have to be very close to AGI because some program code is very big, yeah, and to keep that all in memory and to know exactly what's going on everywhere and what the dependencies are, that is very complex, even for an AGI, if you look code-wise. So I'd expect that will be the last. It will work. What I said, small programs, it will work. It was good, but for the real big things like Salesforce or Microsoft products or the bigger things that are for Unix or operating systems, they are be simple. What can be made or whatever. But I think those are still very important, that there is still a piece of humans in there, and you be very carefully. But if you find this super AI, if super AI comes and it shows that it can do it, then we are there, and then programs are not needed anymore. Maybe there will be another role, that people that will make the prompts, or will make like an architecture. I think like I tried it. I made an architecture of some software with boxes and how to stream, how to decision and whatever. So I make a more nice diagram, asked write me this in Python code, and it did it, and it worked. So yes, that is something maybe you can help, and then you can check it, because you know the fundamentals of what you want to design. You draw it in a book. You make a picture of it, ask Rock or whatever to make software from it, and it can do that. Or it can even, maybe before that, you can ask what kind of libraries do I need? What is the best way to program it in Java or in C? Do I need this kind of architecture for this software or for this program or to solve this problem? It can give you all kinds of new ideas. So then you can tweak your ID until it is perfect. And also the AI said this is perfect. And then you say, okay, write me now the code and give me an document it and give me an explanation how the code works. And then you can still understand a little bit what's going on, and then you can build up your software by yourself for a company. And I think that is how they have to make this in the future. So in the future, probably the code will be presented as diagrams for people, for the engineers to see what's going on. And that's maybe the low level programming in the future, that they look at diagrams generated from the code by AI to show the engineer how it works and where the problems maybe can lie, and help for debugging or to understand better what's going on. So I think we will see a lot of videos on YouTube about programs that are not happy. I've seen already a few of them, and I think it will become more and more. I think it will have an impact on the whole IT world. It will start around now. I think with cursor. I think end of the year, people will start to feel it, the world sliding under their feet and leaving the business. New people will understand that if you try to become a programmer from university, that there is no future. So there will be maybe still a shortage of programmers. So they will probably pull them back to survive the last months, and probably hope they will pay them good. And then in 10 years, I think it is the max. There will be no programmers anymore. It will be all done by AI. And if AI makes AI, there is where we see AGI, and will be that will be the time that we will see UBI. Jobs will disappear, and this is the future that is unstoppable. So it will start with programmers. I think if programs are really not needed and programs are created by AI, and AI can be created by AI, it's already partially done. Think this is the acceleration. That's also why we see now the acceleration from AI so fast with the models, because it is partly created by AI or helped with AI. And this will go faster and faster and faster until we reach the AGI. And then everything can change. And then we have to come back with this talk and really think, what is the impact? What is it doing? How is it reacting? Because then something very smart, very intelligent is above us, and it probably thinks totally different as a human. It works totally different as a human. So you have to see how it will react and how it will become. This is the end of the talk for programmers. So I will say, if you want to program without AI. Do it for yourself. Do simple things. Don't start to write in the first person shooter. Do something simple, chess program or whatever, just to learn coding. It is about the logic thinking, how to code, and how your brain adapt to logical thinking with coding. That is the lesson of coding. It's not making a new 3D shooting game with an AI, with you and only an AI, and then try to sell it on. Those things will be not possible anymore, because AI will do that, or there will always a billion other people that are more talented than you. But for you, if you want to use it, and what is the use for programming? It's to learn logical thinking. How does a computer think? How is software is written? And you learn a lot about of methods, the methods that are there, the looping, the functions, seeing as an object with dependencies. So all those things that are in programming, you can use everywhere, not maybe with gardening or whatever, but then you know what it is, and you can a little bit think about, and if you want to do investment in software companies, you know a little bit about it, and it's fun. It's writing small programs for joy. Those few you can still use AI to help you with how to do this, and you learn something. So it is your teacher to learn your programming. So you have to see it. But job, I think they can wipe this job off the university first years. Programmer is call it prompter, call it something else. But programmers, it will be a dying thing, and something you do in your free time, or you learn during your on the internet for yourself, or when you are working and it is needed. They will give you the time for an AI to explain you how to program. But it will not be taught on school. I think on school you have to teach other things, but I already said you have to be more creative. You must not think, what must I do? It has to be, what can I let other AIs do? So now we are all like slaves, like robots, like factory workers, or like office workers. That's how we are educated. You follow the boss, you follow the hierarchy, you do what is told, and you do your work as good as possible, following the rules. These will be all done by robots and by AI. You need to be above it. You have to think, okay, I have an idea. How can I realize this? So how can I make a company, or how can I instruct my robots or AI to make this a reality? That is what a school has to teach. Also maybe other norms and values, more social things, whatever. But work has to be stripped off the list of important things, because if people still think that they can work in a factory or they can work for an office, if they now go to school, and if they are out of school and there is no job for in a factory, or there's no job for driver, or there's no job for in working in an office or in a factory, they will be so depressed. They said, I throw away 8 years. I studied things I will never use because AI is better in it. What is the purpose of my life? Why didn't I stop 4 years earlier? That girl that I saw, why didn't I ask her to marry me or have relationships? Shit. I throw away 4 years for nothing, and now I cannot even find a job. I cannot even work in a restaurant as a waiter because that is done by by a robot. So they will be depressed. So people have to realize that now, and it is the task of the government and school and education and the people that are really working for social science. They have to intervene now and think, okay, the next generation we study and we educate has to be done differently as all the years before. They will not become factory workers. They will not become office workers. They will not become just employees of following the orders. These people that are now young and will go into the future, those will have other tasks to do than people have now. So this is what I want to add with. It can be very positive, different. But yeah, for our old programmers and IT specialists and computer specialists, we will see all our jobs going away. I see my chip design job going away. The everything, the calculation and the guessing for circuitries, how it will react, is all simulated, it's all in models, all computer done. We did it all by hand. It's not done anymore. We made experimental PCBs to test circuitry. It's not done anymore. It's all virtual. So I've seen all the changes. Programming, I started with basic DB2 base, IBM databases, old versions of old IBM softwares where they debugged FTP kernel pieces that were there was a bug in it, and I found it for IBM and they fixed it. I have so many things in old days. This is all gone and will never come back. It's just like history. And I think everybody will forget it in 10 years, 20 years. Nobody knows. Maybe in the next generation, nobody knows what the Visual Basic was, of how programming and Basic and Libs and Fortran, Cobalt. It will be all gone. Old computers will be all gone. Nobody will know what it is, and maybe also don't even know how a chip is made, because the AI makes everything. Hope we still keep in contact with nature and keep in contact with technology. This is where I want to end. See you guys the next time. Bye bye.